Hello, kids who shouldn't be watching the internet at this hour of the day, 9 a.m. You should be in school right now. I don't know what you're thinking. I'm Greg Alba.
And I'm John C. Riley.
Hey, you got a lot better at that.
Working on it. Yeah, working real hard on it.
You got a lot better at that. Wow, that was good.
Thanks,
that
man.
That was good. And so we're going to talk about Ralph Breaks the Internet today. I'm excited to talk about this film. I'm sure we're the only ones who have uploaded this video at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Except JT, 8:59.
8:59, that's the guy right there. Before we hop into this review, I wanted to say thank you to everyone who's been following us on the Stardust app, yo! 300 posts, officially 7.4k followers. We're trying to get to 7.5. It's a lot. It's free to download, free to use, 30-second reactions for any film, TV show, or trailer. A lot of them are awesome micro sketches. Thank you to all who've been following us there so far. Anywho, link in the description box. Let's get into this review. So if you've seen the trailer for Ralph Breaks the Internet, it's pretty easy to make out what this film's about. Vanellope and her game that I keep calling Candy Cane Land, which I know that's not what it's called, Sugar Rush Land.
Yeah. Candy Crush, Candyland, Sugar Rush.
Her game's getting shut down. They need a part, so the only way to do it is they gotta go into the internet in order to retrieve a certain item, and through some stupid decision making they get themselves in quite a misfit of an adventure exploring the internet, and they explore all the websites you would not want to explore in a children's movie, man. Right. Oh my goodness, was this an R-rated film that I was not expecting.
Yeah, the whole scene where Ralph buys a bunch of guns was just really uncalled for.
And especially the times we're living in.
Yeah, it's weird.
Not cool.
Weird choice.
Well, you had seen Wreck-It Ralph for the first time like the day before, right?
Yeah, a couple days before, and I really loved that movie.
Yeah, and I had saw Wreck-It Ralph about a year ago, and I really enjoyed the hell out of it. I really do like this sequel, though. I think it's a lot of fun. I'm going to try not to compare it to the first one for most of this review, because that would just be unfair. Because the fact of the matter is they're two very different films, very, very different movies. A lot of people, when they would see the trailers, would often compare it to the Emoji Movie, rightfully so, and I've only seen the trailers for the Emoji Movie, and I completely got why they were doing that.
Yeah, a little Emoji Movie and a little Ready Player One in there just for
yeah, definitely. There's a lot of really funny jokes. I laughed a lot, I gotta say. Like, I definitely cracked up quite a bit. One comparison I'll make, and this is not really a criticism, the first Wreck-It Ralph, you know, it's like in the video game world, the arcade world, you don't really need to be acquainted with video games to get a lot of the humor, and that's something I really appreciated about the movie, because while there's a lot of jokes that are very much referential to if you play games, you will get the jokes a lot more. You don't really need to be acquainted with it.
It's not going to affect your overall enjoyment of the story.
This might be a silly statement to make, but if you're not acquainted with social media and online shopping and a lot of these things that go on to surfing the web, a lot of these jokes ain't gonna really fly with you. You're not gonna get a lot of it. They even start dealing with the algorithms of how websites work and all these things.
And if that's you and you happen to be watching this video, that's kind of impressive, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna go watch Ralph Breaks the Internet, odds are you're going to get most of the jokes, all right? So I feel like it's kind of a silly thing to point out. That might be a hindrance, I suppose, in terms of the jokey department. It's so internet-based jokes, but I felt a lot of them really landed. I thought there was some hilarious commentary in here. And I think that this film is exceptionally more self-aware than the first one. This movie is not only aware of the internet world to a very heavy degree, but it's also very much aware it's a Disney film. And I actually like that. I thought the jokes were really funny, like how they tease in the trailers when they go to the Disney site or whatever.
Yeah, just the Disney corner of the internet where everything Disney owns lives.
I thought they honed in on it extremely well, and they really utilized it. Don't want to give away any bits, but there was one bit in this movie that garnered a well-earned applause from Vanellope. I'm not going to give it away, but I was like, yeah, I'm going to clap with everyone. That was a really well-deserved bit right there. Something that I think is going to really stand out. So yeah, I really liked it. Did you like it?
Yeah, I liked it. It's weird having seen the first movie just a handful of hours really before seeing this one. And the main takeaway I got from Wreck-It Ralph 2, Ralph Breaks the Internet.
Oh my God, he said the title of the movie.
The humor, for the most part. I mean, I thought
it's definitely a comedy.
Yeah. And the biggest difference for me, if you want to compare it to the first one, is just that the first one had a ton of heart, and that's what I left with. And this one, I left with more the fun stuff, the cuteness of it, the jokes.
Yeah.
And so, if you're gonna be bummed out that it's more oriented towards the cuteness and the comedy, then that's something to be aware of. But in light of all that, while I don't think it's as good of a movie as Wreck-It Ralph, I still had a great time watching it.
It's called Ralph Breaks the Internet, and all I'll say is that title lives up.
Yeah, it really does in a few different ways.
It's definitely more Vanellope's movie this time around. Yeah. Whereas in the first Wreck-It Ralph, Vanellope was the B story, who becomes such an integral part, is a major focus of the film. It's still Ralph's movie, the first one. This one is Ralph is the supporting character.
Yeah, really he's helping her out along, her life-risking journey.
I mean, Ralph goes on the journey that is the more fun one and the one with the biggest jokes and the one that is the more relatable part, especially in terms of social media.
He's like the comic relief in this movie in his own way.
And with that in mind, there was one very, because I think you hit it on the head, especially with the heart department, because that's not to say this movie doesn't have heart, because there's plenty of moments where the heart is really there, and there's a big message in this film that the trailers do hint at of, just because you're best friends doesn't mean that you should share the same vision and share the same goals for what you want in your life. I don't agree with that. You need to get your shit together.
You need to be exactly like me. And I will give that to this movie, though, that even though I don't think it has as much of an impact as the first one, because the first film, by the end, really moved me in a way I wasn't expecting.
Yeah.
And I do think that the moral of this one, the thing that they're trying to cut to by the end, is actually pretty sophisticated.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah, 1,000%. Also, there was one moment in here that I think if you use social media at all, you'll understand it, but I think especially if you have any type of experience with backlash off of saying something,
if you've
or
ever uploaded a YouTube video,
if you ever uploaded a YouTube video,
even just your own one, that only got 5 views, and someone told you sucked, you know what it is like.
I don't want to give away this moment, but it was a moment that specifically for myself that did get me to tear up, because I'm like, oh man, this scene's for me.
We have been here.
Yeah, I definitely clicked with that. And also, because of the amount of exploration you do in this movie, there's some characters that, one very specifically that was hinted at in the trailers. Gal Gadot's Shank, who is a race car driver in something that's very opposite of Sugarland. It's like the heavy metal world.
It's like Twisted Metal, whatever that game is, where you're just in cars wrecking each other all the time. Everything is just nasty and cutthroat.
And she's not like a funny character, but she's an important character, and she's very much utilized. So it's not like one of those things where they tease a character in the trailer and then you're like,
she doesn't walk through and go, hi, I'm Gal Gadot, and then she leaves. She's an actual part of the story.
She's very much utilized. There's a character Alan Tudyk plays called Knowsmore, which I think had some of the best it's such internet joke heavy, but man, I loved it. I honestly loved a lot of the jokes in there. There's this money guy character whose name I can't remember. He's in the trailer at one point. He's like, you want to make money playing video games?
Want to get rich playing video games?
That guy?
The guy who sounds like Bill Hader, but for some reason I can't find his credit anywhere on TV.
And I forgot his name, but he's a really funny character as well. This movie is a very funny movie, and it's still wildly imaginative with wonderful animation. It might not be as emotionally heavy hitting in terms of the heart department, in terms of spreading it out and letting it kind of fluidly get there, because I especially do think that the third act kind of goes on a little too long. By the point where characters learn the lessons they need to learn, I'm like, I thought you learned the lesson, it's still going.
A lot of this movie to me played out honestly just in terms of structure like a series of bits based off the topic being the internet, and then eventually the emotional story kind of finds a side door into the movie, and then things start to wrap up.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of characters that get sort of checked in with at the beginning and then kind of forgotten about until the end.
Well, yeah, there are
Things like
characters
that.
more in the arcade world that, you might have liked from the first one or loved from the first one who, still make appearances here that are still funny.
Yeah.
But, they're not focused on because the story doesn't require it. I don't really know how you can make a part 3, honestly. Like, this is the biggest it could get. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how you can make a part that I'm like, you should probably just end it. I'm sure they'll try to milk it or try to come up with something.
I mean, I'm
but-
sure they could come up with another lesson, but like, what is there going to be for them to do?
Yeah, I'm
You
like,
know,
after
to
going into
do.
maybe video game consoles, like that was the most I could imagine them doing.
Yeah, they're going to make like a Fix-It Felix for the modern age. With
Yeah,
like
I'm like,
crazy good graphics.
What exactly? Because this movie's so big and so imaginative and meta and self-aware. I'm like, I don't really know how much further you can really go in terms of the craziness department. I really did enjoy it. John C. Reilly still delivers. Vanellope's still a great character. All that Disney exploration stuff that seemed like the moment in the trailers that some people were questionable about. I personally thought it was really funny and really well handled.
It's really funny. Depending on who you are, you might find it just a little sinister in the sense that you're just reminded, like, wow, Disney really does own a lot. of those
Yeah.
So for a moment during some of those more self-aware sequences, I was a little wobbly, but that's just a personal note. Yeah, there is so much really fun, really cheeky stuff, especially when Disney ribs themselves because they know how to do it.
Yeah, I had a great time, and I highly recommend it. If you like the first Wreck-It Ralph, go check this movie out. All right, guys, well, have you not seen it yet? 'Cause it's not out. Did you go to a press screening? Let me know. Ralph Breaks the Internet. What's your favorite website? You guys can subscribe to the Reject Nation, click that notification bell, and hey, download and follow us on the Stardust app, people. It's well worth it. Highly recommend you do it today.
Don't forget to spread our videos around on the dark web.
That's where we belong.
Yeah.